Today was probably one of the weirdest mornings of COD I've seen in the last 10 plus years of covering this game on a daily basis. Today, COD was broken, but like a playable broken, but also kind of not. So it's a strange thing to consider and to think about. But today I want to run down what you may have missed here because it was an eventful morning to say the least. So if you enjoyed the video, drop a like, drop your thoughts down below, and consider subscribing for more COD and other FPS content. I'd love to have you if you'd like to join the community. And finally, check out my friends over at Gamer Advantage for 10% off the best blue light glasses on the market. But more on that later. For now, let's jump into what you may have missed here. So Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 and subsequently Warzone, well, it broke. But again, didn't, but like a lot of it was broken, but you could still play the game. So what happened? Well, apparently it seems like there are some server outages, some back-end issues that needed to be resolved or whatever the case, but essentially it just boiled down to the game was, for the most part, still playable. We'll talk about one big portion of the game not being playable in just a second, but you could play multiplayer, you could play Warzone to a degree. You'd still have some difficulty for some stuff like weapon classes and loadouts. Those all reset. You ended up having just simply for multiplayer default classes. Did not play Warzone to actually see that entirely, but it reset all your stuff down to your basic classes you had at like level 1, which by the way, you were level 1. That was probably the most apparent thing here with it. It reset your operators, it reset your level, and it was something that everybody, no matter what, was level 1, depending on if you were 450 and a true grinder or if you were a genuine level 1. But you had all that kind of stuff. You had your weapons again reset, even if you ended up logging in a little later from like when everything first initially was problematic. At first, there was something that did show that your classes did reset, but whenever I jumped in, as we'll touch on in a second, I think I was a little bit late to the party with this, but like my stuff would show up in create a class. It would show up in the actual in-game menu whenever I'm loading into a game. But as soon as I selected it and I actually went to play, it would switch to a default class. So that kind of stuff happened. Your streaks, again, in that same vein, if you were there early enough, they would have reset. Event progress was affected here, where it doesn't seem like too much is tracking or tracking properly. And then zombies, as I talked about, one portion of the game was just truly not playable. Zombies was that. It was taken entirely offline as of a little bit before recording this video, but that was from an official standpoint. Ever since these sort of outages or back-end issues happened, that was something that was there. You could not get into zombies. If you tried to, it would end up simply clicking that tile to take you into zombies and then getting stuck on the sort of transition screen that said Modern Warfare 3. Get stuck there for about like 2 minutes and then it would say you couldn't get into a game. And so thus it's simply been taken offline. If I'm not mistaken, I think ranked also was like that, might still be, but all of that could be also said for Warzone, not just necessarily Modern Warfare 3 multiplayer and the Modern Warfare 3 core experience. Tutorials and everything for Warzone would even pop up if you like went to choose Plunder or Battle Royale. Those initial videos you'd get, those were something that would play again even, like you'd never played the game before. So this was something that affected basically every facet of Modern Warfare 3 and Warzone to some degree. Again, for the most part, a lot of it was playable, but also just not exactly how you'd want, if that makes sense. I don't know. Like you could jump in and play the game and it wasn't broken to the degree that the game just wouldn't load or something, but I mean, basically all of the game was broken. But actually, you know what? You know what wasn't broken? The shop. You can do with that what you will, but anyways, the ironic and kind of funny part here out of this is that if you did kind of be like, okay, I don't care about using my custom classes, whatever, you just jump into multiplayer or something, it appeared for a long while that skill-based matchmaking, or that retention-based matchmaking, engagement-based optimization, whatever you want to call it, that it was turned off. Now, I think I might have gotten in a little too late, but at the same time, maybe not, because like 6v6 matches were better, and I definitely got things like kills that I should not have, but also like people voted for Crown Raceway over Rust, but the Haymaker meta was still there and stuff, so you really couldn't tell. It was actually a genuine mix, seemingly, not necessarily all super sweaty, but also not all super body. Like I couldn't tell you the last time that 4 people swung on me at once in a 6v6 game mode, but that happened too. Ground War though, like I think I've actually found literal bots. So while Ground War usually has like lessened or less restrictive matchmaking just because there's so many people that it has to account for, I mean, that's kind of one of the things that you take an already loosened matchmaking system and then loosen it even more. And It's kind of crazy. It was fun. And that kind of makes sense to a degree as well, because like if the game reset everybody, air quote on reset everybody to level 1, that stuff will be reinstated. We'll touch on in a second. But if it reset everybody down to level 1, it was almost like it was a launch day or pre-release thing where everybody's still stuck in that first couple of matches where it ends up figuring out your skill level and then the matchmaking algorithm kicks in. That's something that can be seen every single year. If you end up getting the game early at all, if you end up getting it like either in the New Zealand trick or something like that, usually you don't see the matchmaking really truly turn on until 9 p.m. Pacific time, midnight Eastern on launch night. That's something that's when everything globally is launched, so the matchmaking really starts to kick in then at that point. The most apparent I can think of with this kind of stuff was Black Ops Cold War. I had that game like a day or two early whenever the servers first launched, and it's funny because like, yeah, you'd end up getting like literal pros. Like I played Scumpy more times than I could imagine that first day and a half or so, but like once the areas of the world started to get it and more players started to populate it, and wasn't just like content creators, streamers, or like press and stuff like that, when there was actually like a lobby pool that wasn't restrictive based off of skill, it was a night and day difference. Like they truly flipped the switch once we hit that 9 p.m. Pacific, midnight Eastern time during that. That happens every single year, but that year really sticks out to me because like it was the most apparent. Like it was truly the midnight Eastern mark for me where I was like, oh my God, my lobbies are like now an entire night and day. Like I'm sweating at this point. But anyways, I digress. If you ended up getting in and playing during some of this, it seems like, well, matchmaking was a lot more lenient on this, or a lot more balanced at least than you may expect, where it was more so connection-based probably, if that's my guess, where it's the next default, and then you get that sort of mixture of lobbies. But that said, the game is probably, by the time this goes up, knowing my luck, it'll be something that is fixed where everything may actually be in working order. But at the same time, actually scratch that. It appears to be. This is Espresso from the future now, editing. They haven't officially tweeted or communicated things are fixed just yet as of making this amendment. But my rank appears. I can see and progress my battle pass again. I can play zombies and ranked where I couldn't before. So it seems all is now fixed at this point. But beyond that, now that things appear to be fixed, which to be fair, I did not play a ton of matches while things were still broken, but I played enough where I thought that I should have ranked up at least once, but it appears at least that progress may have been reverted back to the pre-problematic states, i.e. I was ranked 313 and I'm still ranked 313 as of after this, once everything was air quote fixed. So that might be the same case here for you, which kind of makes sense when you think about it. Challenge tracking and stuff, event tracking wasn't working, so it seems like things just were not tracking on the back end. Does that suck if you played a ton during the outage? Absolutely, not going to deny that at all. But that seems to be the case here with this. But that said, just wanted to fill you guys in. If you guys did not know, yeah, COD, Modern Warfare 3, Warzone, it was broken today. So that's where we're at, $70 game. Some people may have had some free time, very limited, and wanted to kill some time, but then they couldn't. But yeah, so is what it is. Just want to fill you guys in. Before we wrap everything up, make sure to check out my friends over at Gamer Advantage for what I firmly believe are the best blue light glasses on the market. I've worked with these guys now for 3 years and cannot recommend them enough. They're the most lightweight, comfortable, and durable frames out there as far as I've used, and I definitely think they've helped my daily productivity. Full transparency, yes, they are a bit more of an investment, but I also think your vision's absolutely worth investing into, especially if you're like me, you look at a monitor, phone, or you're gaming for a good chunk of the day. So if you guys would like to learn more, at the very least, I just say go check out their website, learn what they have to say. They can break down the science and the specifics way better than I ever could, but what I can personally say is that I'd highly recommend them from my time using their stuff. But if you guys would like to learn more, check the link in the description below. And again, if you'd like to pick something up for yourself, use code Espresso to get 10% off your entire order. But for now, that's what we're gonna call it. So drop your thoughts, drop a like, and subscribe for more COD and FPS content. We got some other stuff coming up throughout the weekend here that I think you guys will enjoy. So I'd love to have you in the community if you'd like to join. But for now, thanks so much for watching. My name is Espresso. I'll see you later. Take care and peace.